The Whispers in Blackwood Manor, a descent into madness. Do you dare to uncover the secrets hidden within the walls of Blackwood Manor? A place where whispers echo through the ages and shadows dance with malevolent intent. Prepare to question everything you thought you knew about reality. Ethan, a staunch skeptic, scoffed at the mere mention of the paranormal. Horror movies were a joke, ghost stories were childish fantasies, and every unexplained phenomenon had a logical explanation. Blackwood Manor, with its ominous reputation, was just another old house in his eyes. The townsfolk whispered tales of disappearances, chilling noises, and icy pockets of air within the manor's decaying walls. They called it cursed, a place where darkness thrived. Ethan dismissed their fears as mere superstition, the product of overactive imaginations. He was about to learn how wrong he was. The first night was deceptively calm, save for the unsettling drafts that caused the candle flames to flicker erratically. Ethan's room, though small, possessed a certain antique charm, dominated by a massive wardrobe that seemed to hold secrets of its own. As he lay in bed, a chilling sound pierced the silence. Whispers. They were faint, distant, like a hushed conversation just beyond his door. A creeping dread began to coil in his stomach. He sat bolt upright, his heart pounding against his ribs. The old house groaned and creaked, the wind howled like a banshee, and the pipes emitted mournful sighs. He tried to rationalize it, to convince himself it was nothing more than the house settling. But then he heard it again, a chilling voice that seemed to slither into his mind. Ethan. His breath hitched in his throat, a primal fear gripping him. Everyone else in the house was asleep, lost in their own dreams. This was something else, something sinister. He crept to the door, pressing his ear against the cold wood. Silence. A suffocating, expectant silence. Then, a sudden, deliberate knock echoed from within the walls. 3 slow, ominous raps that resonated deep within his bones. Ethan stumbled backward, his heart hammering against his chest like a trapped bird. He desperately wanted to believe it was just an animal trapped behind the old wooden panels, but a chilling certainty gnawed at him. This was no animal. The whispers persisted over the next few days, a constant, unnerving presence. They were always just beyond the threshold of comprehension, never loud enough to decipher the words, but always potent enough to send icy tendrils of fear snaking down his spine. He felt like he was slowly losing his mind. Then he stumbled upon it, the panel. It was in the hallway outside his room, subtly misaligned with the others, as if deliberately hidden in plain sight. When he pressed against it, the aged wood shifted with an eerie, groaning creak. Behind it, a gaping maw of darkness beckoned. A hidden passage, a secret gateway to something unknown. Clutching his phone, its flashlight beam cutting through the oppressive darkness, Ethan squeezed through the narrow opening. A blast of frigid air assaulted him, carrying the stench of damp earth and something metallic, something akin to rust, or perhaps something far more sinister: blood. He descended a spiraling stone staircase, his footsteps echoing in the claustrophobic space, each step a descent into madness. At the bottom, a wooden door stood slightly ajar, offering a glimpse into the room beyond. Inside, dozens of old portraits lined the walls, their eyes seeming to pierce his very soul. Each frame was coated in a thick layer of dust, yet the faces within were disturbingly vivid, almost lifelike. Too vivid. Their eyes followed him, their gazes filled with a chilling intensity. Some looked terrified, others seethed with rage, but one portrait stopped him dead in his tracks. A boy. His age. His face. His mouth moved, forming words he couldn't hear, a silent scream trapped within the canvas. Ethan staggered back, his phone light shaking violently in his trembling hand. That's when he heard it, a voice that seemed to crawl directly into his ear. You shouldn't have come here. The air turned glacial, a bone-chilling cold that seeped into his very marrow. The candle in the corner of the room flickered wildly, casting grotesque shadows that danced like demons, before extinguishing completely, plunging the room into absolute darkness. The whispers intensified, growing frantic, overlapping, surrounding him in a cacophony of dread. Ethan turned to flee, to escape the encroaching madness, but the staircase behind him had vanished, swallowed by the darkness. The room was shifting, contorting, as if alive. The walls were closing in, suffocating him. The portraits were changing, the faces now contorted in silent screams, their eyes wide with unimaginable terror. He was trapped in a living nightmare. The boy in the portrait reached out a hand, his eyes pleading, yet filled with an ancient sorrow. Ethan felt an invisible force pulling him toward it, a magnetic pull that defied all reason. His body resisted, fighting against the unseen force, but his mind was slipping, succumbing to the darkness. The whispers grew louder, clearer, more insistent. "Join us." His reflection in the portrait twisted, distorting into something grotesque, something utterly wrong. His skin darkened, his eyes hollowed, his mouth stretched into a silent, agonizing scream. He was becoming one of them. Ethan let out a strangled cry, forcing himself to turn away from the horrifying reflection. He sprinted toward the door, yanking it open just as unseen hands clawed at his arms, trying to drag him back into the abyss. He stumbled into the hallway, gasping for breath, his lungs burning. The panel slammed shut behind him, sealing whatever horrors lay within. The whispers ceased, leaving behind an unnerving silence. The house was silent once more, but the silence was now pregnant with dread. Ethan never spoke of that night, burying the memory deep within the recesses of his mind. He never touched the panel again, avoiding the hallway altogether. But as the days passed, he began to notice subtle, unsettling changes. The mirrors in the house reflected shadows that shouldn't have been there, fleeting glimpses of figures lurking in the periphery of his vision, only to vanish when he turned his head. He felt like he was being watched, constantly scrutinized by unseen eyes. And at night, just as he was about to drift into sleep, he would hear it again, a chilling reminder of the horrors he had witnessed. Soft, distant, a whisper that slithered into his mind like a venomous snake. "You shouldn't have come here." The manor had marked him, tainted him with its darkness. He could never truly escape. Did the whispers in Blackwood Manor send shivers down your spine? If you crave more tales of the macabre and the unexplained, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next descent into darkness. Share this video with your fellow horror enthusiasts and let us know in the comments. What's the creepiest thing that's ever happened to you? Do you believe in the whispers in the walls? Your fears fuel our nightmares.